Cause I'm losing your touch. I don't know why I have this in. That's my mother. Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome to my channel. In 1 minute it's gonna be 12:34. So I'm gonna wait that minute. Excuse me. I've already pre-shuffled the decks. Let's see. I do want to catch this. And so I guess I'll go through a little bit of background. I today woke up thinking about last eclipse season in July because here it is. I was like, well, no, I had this yesterday. I don't want my phone to die, so I'm going to put this up. Oh, there it is. 12:34. It's backwards, but it was right there. Or 4, 3, 2, 1 for the folks on the other side. But I was thinking about last eclipse season because I guess in this eclipse season, or in January-ish, was when I hit the first period of time where I couldn't sleep longer than like 3 hours at a time. Sleep has been whatever. I guess the energies are intense. I don't know why I said it like that. But so I went back to look and see what I had around July. No journal entries. I had didn't have any. Oh wait, let me check that last journal because I recorded a video, but I deleted all the videos I had on my iPad to make room, right? So I no longer have that. And I just wanted to get a feel for like the space I was in / what was going on and what was going down around the time. And I didn't have anything. So I went looking around the day-ish. Well, I guess I had this right before the eclipse happened. And it was related to a dream I had, I think. And I was like, this doesn't make sense now. Maybe it'll make sense later. I could see how it makes sense in some ways, but I'm still like, what? But then I came upon this mega reading thing that I did. And when was this? And I actually recorded this one at 4:32 a.m. Oh my gosh, I was up all night. So I started at 4:32 and I ended at 6:07, but that's when I stopped recording the last one. Whew. But anyway, I read this and I was like, wow, this kind of did a lot. So I recorded this June 5th, 2019. Let me just see where the planets were at that time. Roughly. Let me see like what aspects were going on. But basically I'm going to run through these because I really liked it. I'm going to do one a day. I'm going to do 3 paths today because it's going to be general, right? And so, I don't know. There's a lot of people in a lot of different spaces and a lot of different places. The time was 4:32 a.m. Boom. Oh, I should have just went to the chart. Couldn't believe. Take your time. Oh my gosh. This is way too many aspects. Let me turn off the minor bodies. Because I'm like, this is a lot. This is a lot. That should help. Okay, that cleans stuff up a bit. Looks like we actually had a grand trine on that day. Saturn in Capricorn, the Sun in Taurus, and the vertex was in Virgo. And the descendant was also in Virgo at the time I started that. So there was a grand Earth trine. Oh, come on. Come on. Grand Earth trine looks like there's lots of sextiles. A bunch of squares. Is this a grand cross? Jupiter in Sagittarius. the descendant in Vertex and Virgo, Mars in Gemini, and um, Neptune in Pisces. So that's a grand mutable cross at the same time too. Grand Earth trine, grand mutable cross. Oh my gosh. No wonder. Okay, so I'm just gonna read the entry now. I just want to know what the astrology was like that day. Where was the moon? The moon was in Pisces, 0 degrees. Huh. Okay. The moon was in Pisces. Venus and Mercury were in Aries. Uranus and the sun and the moon were all in Taurus. So I was coming up on a little lunar return. Mars was in Gemini. Jupiter was in Sag. Saturn and Pluto were in Capricorn. Okay. All right, now let's go back to the other app. So in Mega Reading number 1, I basically did what I've been doing. I pulled one of the Magical Dimensions Oracle cards and I pulled some other cards. I have no layout or format. It's just cards on the table. I think they came out in 2s and 3s and I just laid them down. So there's 5 or 6 cards plus the Oracle card. So on this one, I wrote, the keys to the kingdom from which all water flows are locked in a chest of emotional stability. Once the keys have been obtained, then one may take the role of high priest and emperor. To be stabilized internally is to bring about external dominion, or to rule within oneself is to rule over circumstances without. The journey started with a glimmer of hope at the darkest point, with the truth being the only thing remaining as everything else was fading away. To grow closer to family, I had to experience reliance upon them again. This came in the form of extraordinary financial burden. As the Knight of Pentacles, who's in reverse, I believe. Yeah, he's in reverse. As the Knight of Pentacles took the little money, as the Knight of Pentacles, I guess, took the little money I had to count on the generosity of others. As the Knight of Pentacles took the little money I had, oh, okay. All right. As the Knight of Pentacles took the little money I had to count on the generosity of others. I was also able to identify my relationship with prosperity at this time, and it also set the stage for greater financial wisdom, appreciating value and not being so quick to spend every penny. Next was the rebirth and rekindling of forgotten and foregone passions. Realizations or realizing how deep rooted fears manifested in so many areas and strangled so many things that I had truly desired. And the desire to face these fears and grow beyond them is what led me to seeing a bright and loving future for myself and my family. The next phase was to find rest and ease within myself. So many worries came to the surface and brought realization of those fears back to the surface. This period had me questioning if I was doing what I wanted / really should be doing, tested how my balance interacted with others, and had me torn between releasing feelings and holding on to them. The rest and balance I learned was a lesson to release expectation, to not be so enthralled in far flung results that I can't sit in, enjoy, and appreciate the now. Learning to be at rest within myself and to take stock of how the expectation I hold of something can affect the outcome was vital in releasing frustrations. Lastly, the emperor is what I strive to be, so sure in myself and so balanced internally that I come to embody and personify strength and stability, and that I can be a living, breathing stronghold through which others can find solace and look to for guidance. The emperor knows not what blights, plights, and slights may. And then I had May, like capital M-A. And I was like, oh, it's May right now. Oh my gosh, that's a sign. The emperor knows not what blights, plights, and slights may affect the status and safety of his kingdom, but he takes it all in stride, head on, even leading the charge into battle if he must. Think of who you serve and how they serve you. Remember who it's all for. The kingdom must be established and the land must be secured before the arrival of those to follow. And I was like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. It's funny that I wrote about striving to be an emperor because I was not trying to be seen or trying to be no leader, but I guess it was what it was, right? So yeah, I was like, wow, that was like low key kind of sort of deep. Like that's the kind of stuff I do for myself, you know. And like I know I've like kind of sort of not kind of sort of I know I've like read for people on here, but if I do like a personal, because I sit down like in the actual energy, right? And I try to go a lot deeper. Sometimes going a lot deeper means, reading for a situation that is still coming. It's like you're in the precursory phase to whatever it is. And then once it boils to the surface and once that change comes in and those greater decisions need to be made and things really start to kick off, that's where I kind of sort of pick up. So they're kind of sort of different, I think. Maybe not, but I believe they're kind of sort of different. And I haven't done too many, but they usually go like deep. Oh, wow. Yeah, they take a few months to actually come to pass, though, because a lot of times it's like it's however long it takes you to reach a breaking point and however long it takes you to really get to those changes and see through those changes. Because I read for my friend Emily in January, and by February, basically, she was in it. I read for her. No, that was October. I take that back. I pulled the cards in January. That kind of sort of backed it, but in a different way. Because the first time it was just the whatever. The second time was the actual situation. And then like everything started to go down. That was the beginning of January. So like mid-January, and by mid-February, it was like wrapped up. And then after that was the sort of realizations that came with that, right? Anyway. I do kind of miss doing personals, low-key. Low-key. A little bit. Because sometimes it's like I can get like into it. I remember the first time I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm feeling this and I'm feeling that. And this is like the situation that's coming to me and I want to cry. So I can't even imagine what it's like actually like being in it and going through it. And then to find out that everything that I picked up on was true and that had then been validated, I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway. So that's, and we're going to take this one and then we're going to keep going. So I'm getting the 3. Oh, you got 2. Oh, man. Darn it. I'm doing 3 Oracle cards. And then I'm going to pull the tarot on top. I'm doing everything face down. I don't want to see it. Oops, okay. Yeah, no. See. Oh, my gosh. What is that? The crown portal just throwing everything off. The crown portal is what triggered the fallout. And then awakening is what led this whole stack of cards that actually fell on the table. So I ain't taking none of them, but I think it's important to note. Crown Portal Awakening coming in. Okay, give me one more card, please. Or we can just do 2. I'm gonna give this 7 more. If I don't get a card, I'm just gonna do 2 last. Because I'm open, I'm flexible. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, last chance, 7. I'll do 1 more. 8. Okay. Bottom of the deck is Contemplation. There you go. You can kind of see it now. Contemplation. Top of the deck is Forgiveness. Forgiveness was actually at the bottom of the pile that came out with Awakening. So, I mean, I could split these up to do 3, but I'm not going to do that. Maybe, like, if you chose 3 when I said 3, or if you got to choose between 1 and 3, 2 and 3 are intertwined. So maybe I'll do a full, like, Celtic Crossy type thing over there. All right, so let's start with this one. What is this one about? I haven't even seen it yet. I'm pulling all of these. Well, the King of Cups came out upright. This is all upright now. I flipped it last time I used it. I'm using the Witch's Tarot and Magical Dimensions, Oracle cards, and Activators. If you're curious. If you're curious. Oh my gosh. That's fine. I had a dream last night about a misunderstanding. And then I woke up today and I'm browsing the internet before I got out of bed, right? And I come upon this article. I'll lay them out. I'll figure out what this is. I guess I'll do a full Celtic cross around both of them. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that just came out. And I think last time I did whatever fell out. So, and they're all face down, so I'll take it. This is a cross. Here's 3. I'll do these 3 down here, this one up here, and then another cross. So there's a cross, 1, a cross, and then under the 1 is 3. But yeah, I saw, and then I came across a picture, and I was like, "Is that who I think that is?" And it was, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, of course it would be her." And then she told the story about the picture, and there was a misunderstanding in the story related to the same, like similar, related to the similar topic. And I was like, "Oh wow, that's crazy." So let's see what this is about first. We had the King of Cups coming out with the Guardians. So this is about spiritual protectorship. I actually read this yesterday, so I'm not going to read it again today. I'm not going to read any of the entries for these. I'm just kind of going to go with it. So this is shielding, defense, and warning, and then we have this King of Cups, right? Maybe emotionally defense. And being emotionally defensive is different than being like emotionally detached. I would say this emotional defensiveness is rooted more in stability, being grounded, stable, and unshakable, especially when it comes to the realm of emotions. So let's say like maybe you're financially not super stable and you're stressed about that. Maybe you are mentally engulfed in some kind of back and forth conflict, turmoil, battle, struggle, whatever, right? Maybe when it comes to your passions and desires, it's like you want to do this, but you want to do that, or you want to do this, but you don't really know how you're going to do it, or you want to do this, but it like other people don't agree with it. Give me one moment. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Oop. All right, I'm back. Hey, Miyoshi. Good afternoon. So I think this could also be this could be a person, right? The court cards are people. So if this ain't you, this may be a strong masculine influence in your life, but it's a strong masculine influence in a very feminine way, in a very caring and compassionate way, in a very understanding way. Again, this could be someone who you consider spiritually wise, emotionally stable, and probably someone whose emotional stability is kind of sort of grounded in higher levels of thinking, right? That spiritual wisdom. This could also be, it's probably, I mean, if you're not at this point, then you should probably get there. So the cross over here is karma and the fool. Oof. Karma is judgment. Karma and the fool is a crossover here. Is this kind of like shielding, defense, and warning? Potentially, maybe. It's funny because I was literally thinking about this when I was in the shower for some reason. Because I remember it just popped into my mind, and I was like thinking about how yesterday I was like talking about shielding and defense and stuff like that, and how it's kind of sort of been a theme lately. And I was talking about how like if you have sort of like weak points, that can be something that someone can use as a gateway, someone or something or whatever, right? Can use as a gateway to come in and sort of like pick at you. But then also at the same time, I think I don't know, but it's like karma would be able to penetrate any level of defense or shielding or whatever you do. I don't know if you can necessarily defend against karma. So if you've already committed the action, that karmic retribution is coming back. And so we have this karma here that is blocked by the Fool. So, I mean, karma blocked by the Fool could just be someone who made a mistake, didn't know what they was doing, and ended up reaping karma. But the King of Cups is also forgiving, and forgiveness is the top of the deck, right? Or is it the bottom? Forgiveness is the top of the deck. What is this? Inspirational creation. Okay. So we have forgiveness, which is our contemplation number 7, and forgiveness number 10. Number 16. Oh, we actually have 2 sevens. Contemplation is a straight up 7. Forgiveness is a 16-7. Silence, knowing, and releasing control is contemplation. Forgiveness is redemption, rebirth, and regeneration. Okay, so guardians. This may be an opportunity to, or maybe someone already took the opportunity because it's kind of sort of in the past position to clear up a karmic debt, right? Oh, okay, yeah. I'm actually feeling that. So if the first one resonates for you, sorry, you're gonna get it back. But when it comes to like redemption and retribution and stuff like that, I feel like this is kind of sort of, it could also be telling me maybe more so in this way. No, in this way. Someone's completed karmic cycles, and this Fool means that you're open to brand new beginnings. Okay, I actually like that. I think that might resonate more for some of y'all's. You've closed up the cycle. Everything is brand new. It's open. The dog and this, I mean, it could just be a small breed of dog, but the dog in this card is a puppy. And you got the Fool. And I don't think this Fool, for some reason, I'm feeling it like he was just divinely placed at that edge and he's about to proceed in the direction that the dog is, right? I don't think this Fool is about to take a leap. I think he was placed at the precipice of this. And so it's like you're standing on the bounds of this karmic zone. And it's like you've been released from the cycle, but I feel like mentally or emotionally, maybe emotionally, okay, the way I put it back down, now karma is blocking the Fool. But maybe emotionally, since it is the King of Cups, emotionally and spiritually, I need to speak this up. But it's like you're at, it's like if this is the zone of karma back here, it's like you're right here. Like you're just beyond that point, but you may not feel far enough to where you don't, it's almost like you may still be tempted by it's like you may still be tempted to re-enter these karmic cycles that you've already closed out. It's like you've already closed them out, like you're on the edge, right? But you have this journey before you. Like follow the dog. The dog is a guardian. The dog is a guardian. The dog is a protector. We have the guardians right here. I was talking about there may be some spiritual type of man. It ain't even gotta be a man. This could be a guide, honestly, who is pushing you in a certain direction that may feel very like, honestly, I feel like it's going to test your sense of self-worth and it's going to test what you feel like you deserve. Because I feel like this is like, it's the Fool, right? This is somebody fresh out of karmic cycles that they don't have to repeat anymore. And they're coming into cycles of getting karmic reward, right? It's like you did so well while you were closing out those cycles that you actually banked enough good karma to leave you on the plus side when all of that closed down, right? So instead of balancing out even and being in this neutral space, like you did well enough, you banked up extra. So you're actually, you're up there, but you may not necessarily feel that you are. And the shielding and the defense that you're going to have to do if you have like a lesser healed shadow is you're going to have to defend yourself against that because that's going to be the thing that comes at you telling you that you don't deserve it, telling you that it's too good to be true, telling you that it's a lie, it's a trick, it's false, it's going to be popping up red flags all over the place. I mean, but if the part about you foolishly creating more and more and more karma, doing stuff that you maybe didn't even necessarily know that you were doing that was wrong, or maybe you ain't even care. The fool was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it and I don't care. And I bet you care now. Anyway, I don't think that's it for this. I think it's more so the second one, right? Because we do have the King of Cups upright. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to look at the other cross. It's the Ten of Wands and the Hermit. So yeah, this is the warning. So this is the shielding. The shielding is like you are protected from a lot of the old stuff that you used to deal with because you've closed those cycles. So you can move forward unfettered and claim this beautiful life that you've worked for. On the warning side, we have the Ten of Wands and we have the Hermit. And I feel like that's definitely speaking to the shadow. Like, if you don't let this stuff go, I feel like this is the energy telling you to let stuff go. And this is your inner darkness telling you, for whatever reason, to hold on to it. Maybe you're afraid, again, and causing the question things of like self worth and stuff like that. Is it too good to be true? Honestly, what that's telling me to do is like your shadow needs some love. And when you've done enough shadow work, integration, healing, it's like those parts of when you love yourself more fully, wholly, and completely, those parts of you know that they're not going to be neglected and that you're going to bring them along with you, and you're going to have a healthier dynamic. And so when they're less afraid of being left behind, they don't really bother you as much, right? When they're less afraid of being behind, they don't cause you to manifest things counter to the things that you actually want to manifest. They don't keep you holding baggage. They they switch teams, they switch sides. And then once that happens, the only person holding you back kind of sort of really is you. I've experienced that in some way where it's like I mean I've talked about it a few times where it's like I feel like I'll try to attribute some stuff to my shadow and then my shadow will be like, no, this ain't me. This ain't me. This is you. And I'm like, what? But you're the part of me that that does this. And my shadow's like, no, because I'm looking forward to the future too. Like I did misery your whole life. And now that I see the good stuff coming, whatever you got left to resolve, that's on you, boo. But yeah, that ain't me. And I was like, what? Really? My shadow was like, yeah. My shadow was like, I actually kind of sort of like want this to work. I was like, okay, whatever. Switching sides like that, then who can I blame? Who can I blame? Nobody. In the middle, we have the Page of Wands. So the Fool and the Hermit are both looking in the same direction. The Page of Wands is looking in an opposite direction. Sometimes I confuse the Page of Wands with the Fool, lucky. But this Page of Wands is all about claiming what it is that you want to go for. I feel like if you're fixed and focused more on the fulfillment of your desires and chasing after what you desire, it's going to put you less in the space of worrying about what happens if it doesn't go right. I feel like the advice here is to pursue it fully and wholeheartedly. Fully, FOOLY, and fully, FULLY. Pursue it fully and fully. Um, because what ifs are just what ifs. But what could be's, it's like, why would you focus on what ifs when you could focus on what could be's, right? Do you believe in magic? Choose to believe in miracles, and miraculous things will happen. The three cards clarifying this are the Eight of Cups, the Death card, and the Three of Pentacles. Okay, yeah. So this Eight of Cups is on the side. One second. I ain't playing with y'all today. I wish I could talk to my friend Emily, but we can't talk. for some, like, we're too high vibe for the phones, and so like we tried WhatsApp, we tried FaceTime, like the audio always cuts in and out no matter what, and it's been like that for a minute. And I'm like, I can't even talk about like we can't even go full in depth. I'm like, oh my gosh. If I'm being honest, high key is more on her side. Um, like she can, or maybe she's better at piecing it together. I can piece it together a lot of the times, but when she really gets into it, it's like every seventh word. I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway, it ain't about us. So the Three of Pentacles is on the side of the Fool and the Karma card, which is all about those new beginnings, building off of a brand new foundation, because somebody has taken the flame of awakening and they are now studying by that flame, studying by the flame of what can truly be outside of all of the misery and outside of all of the cycles that you've completed before. This could also be, it's like someone writing up their life. Um, so maybe write up the stuff that you desire to have, the type of job you want, the place you want to live, the type of partner you want, the type of community you want to be in, maybe how you serve that community. What do your relationships look like? Like maybe go on Pinterest and make a board and like a vision board, but a Pinterest vision board or whatever, and pin it all up. Places you want to go, places you want to see, things you want to do, things you want to experience. I don't know, like all of it, right? And do it from a space, if you can, if you know, hopefully, but do it from a space of knowing that like all of that is possible, right? And so it's like be realistic, like of what you actually really want and things you would actually really like to do, right? And not just like generic, like whatever. Like, oh, I want to have a mansion. Like, why? Do you actually want a mansion, or is that just something that like you feel like you should have? Because personally, I don't too much like big houses, and that's just the like the scaredy cat in me. Because like in a bigger house, there's more rooms, and if you hear a noise on the other side of the house and ain't nobody over there, you know, especially if it's a new house, and like I guess a new house could be settling. Oh, that's just the foundation settling. I'm like, okay. Uh, and also, kind of, I mean, like if you have something to use the space for, then it's not unnecessary. But anyway, but like things that you actually want, right? But also, you know, approach it from a space of like, don't dream too small. Don't be afraid to dream bigger. It's both of those. Sitting on top of this Page of Wands is this death. Is this death formation? Is this death transformation? And this is purification by fire, right? Page of Wands, death card. It looks a little fiery and dark. Red sky at night, sailor's delight. Red sky at morning, sailors take warning. This change, this transformation is coming in. I mean, it's the death card, so this is Red Sky at Morning. Red Sky at Morning also calls to mind the Seven of Swords from the Pride Tarot deck. And the Seven of Swords in the Pride Tarot deck is all about stealing yourself away from the community at large because of a fear of not fitting in. So maybe the people that you surround yourself with is going to be transforming. The North Node is in Gemini right now, so we may be looking at our communities and friendships in a certain type of way. Um, but yeah, that's purification by fire, chasing your desire, focusing more on what you want and allowing that to consume enough of you that that desire burns away at the fear and the hesitation, and it gets you to act and it gets you to move, right? Now it ain't to be completely wrapped up in it, but be inflamed and engulfed in the flame enough that it burns off all of that hesitation and that anxiety, worry, stuff like that. Then sitting on top of the Ten of Wands and the Hermit is this Eight of Cups, right? So again, maybe it's telling you to do a little bit of shadow work, a little bit of shadow healing, a little bit of integration. Um, and honestly, for me, part of that, especially towards the end, oh my gosh. And I'm glad I did that, because if I didn't do that, I would be struggling right now, hardcore. So I'm glad I had that opportunity to heal that before everything that happened in the world happened. But for me, some of that was like going back to past memories that I was hanging on to. things that I was using for strength as a never again, right? As a like, I'm going to stand up for myself in the future because I'm not going to allow this type of situation to ever happen to me again. And it was realizing that the source of my strength had changed. For me personally, it was realizing that that strength was grounded and rooted in a type of trauma. And so that strength was always toxic. Um, Things that have toxic roots and toxic foundations can't likely live in the purity and in the light because it's going to continue to manifest these things, right? Because that's the ground from which it grows, is going to continue to manifest these blockages in all kinds of areas. And so for me personally, I had to go back to that moment. I had to talk to myself. I had to thank myself for staying in that memory because of the strength it gave me to move forward. But I was like, you know what? I don't need you to sit in this space anymore. Like, thank you for doing it for this long. I appreciate it, but I know that you're also hurting in this space. And so while I did benefit in some ways for you holding on to this pain, it's time for us to heal and it's time for us to move forward. So I thank you, I honor you, but you're good to go. And then it just like, I don't know, I felt it release. And then I did like some other stuff. And then I like cried because inner child will have you in tears. Um, but it's kind of sort of stuff like that, right? And those are the things that you kind of sort of got to walk away from, because if you leave things like that, it's like if you don't shut it down, I'm seeing it like a plant, right? If you leave it in operation, it's going to continue to produce and manufacture things that you don't want. And if it's continuing to produce and manufacture things that you don't want, it's going to make it harder for you to increase the gap between your old karmic cycles and then the new ones that you're coming into, right? It's like you've already gone beyond that threshold, but I feel like may feel that you're still in it, or that you're too close to it to pursue what it is that you actually fully want. And this King of Cups is right here as a reminder that your external world in some ways is always going to, and not some ways, but your external world is always going to reflect parts of your internal. And if you want to open up with that clamshell, and if you want to be that pearl, you gotta, you've already gone through the pressure. You've already done this. You've already done that. I don't know if there's a certain like period of time after which the clam stops. Um, like, I don't know if like the pearl will get bigger and bigger and bigger forever, or I don't know if like sometimes the pearl gets too big for the clam and then it gets uncomfortable and it gets irritated and it's time to open up. Either way, it's time to open up. It's time to love yourself and it's time to move on. And maybe, I don't know, reach out to your guides, your guardians, your ancestors, whatever, your spiritual protectors, your team, right? Maybe get your team involved because the guardians are here to help you out. Um, that's what I got for this. I'm actually gonna put. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna leave these all on the table. That's initially what I wanted to do because I might have to reference these, and then I'll be like, "What was that card? What was this card? What's going on?" But yeah, Three of Pentacles on the full side. It's time to build up with them new foundations. It's time to walk away from all that old stuff. Okay. I don't know what these cards are, but give me an overall, maybe, and then we'll get into whatever we need to get into. I had a really good shuffle earlier. Like a really good shuffle. Oh, this is gonna be less than an hour. Good. So I can do my meditation. I can go outside. And then I can get to work. I found out yesterday I did the first problem wrong. I'm like, oh my gosh. At this point, though, honestly, I just need to finish it. Hi, Key. As long as I pass, I pass. I saw the Eight of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune at the first cut, and then the Three of Swords and the Nine of Swords. No, Three of Swords. I forget. The Three of Swords came out at the second one. I should have mentioned it when it was there. Page of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. It's time to build anew. Okay. Give me one card to show me what this is about. I'm looking for a general overarching, or two, because I do have two cards. So first card, or just two. However y'all want to do it, just give it to me. Give it to me. Uh-huh. Oh, two cards. Oh, wow. Two cards flipped over in the deck, the moon and the world. So this is kind of intense over here. Were those the only two? Let's see. Feel like I gotta show y'all now. Ain't nothing else flip over? Nope. Okay, good, great. So now let's get started. Let whatever fall needs to fall. Let it fall. Oh no, that's way too much. Like half the deck just tried to flip over. I ain't doing all that. I mean, I know I got two cards, but like, no. No, thank you. Let's try that again, please. Starting over. Wheel of Fortune and the Seven of Swords at the cut. How long will you continue to stand in your way? Because I know after a certain point, I was like, I got out my own way. I would be gosh darned if anybody else get in my way. I don't care how much I love you. I don't care how much I care about you. I'm not in my way no more. I'm not going to allow nobody else to be in my way. I got too much Taurus in my chart for that. I got too much fixed energy in my chart for that. I got too much cardinal energy in my chart for that. I got too much mutable energy in my chart for that. I got too much me and me to allow somebody else to hold me back. Like Magician and the Seven of Swords now. Like I've lived my whole life held back. And I'm out of my way now. I've held myself back my whole life. And I realize that. I recognize that. I've always known that. Because I'm awesome. And I'm very, very intelligent and very gifted. And I can be creative. And I'm just kind of sort of a jack of all trades. But mentally, I had way too much stuff going on to ever give myself the opportunity to thrive. I was afraid of happiness. I would actively like self-sabotage myself. I was depressed like all my life, basically. I got diagnosed with major depressive disorder, I believe, a few years ago. Happened over the summer, interestingly enough. I found out I had to take an IQ test as part of the diagnosis for some reason. And it turns out I'm actually kind of smart. I would be like a lot smarter if mentally I could process things quicker. Because, like, I don't know if y'all can tell or not, but whenever I'm trying to, like, really get into it, then that's when my brain just like goes overdrive and I mix up my words and I say stuff wrong, even though I know what I'm talking about. It just comes out of my mouth wrong, and then I got to clean it up, and then I get, anyway. Anyway, this ain't about me. I mean, it is about me because this is my channel. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I'm working on my Leo North Node, so if I sound a little egotistical, my Leo North Node. I'm working on my Leo Chiron, my Chiron and Leo, so if I sound egotistical, I don't care. Because I know who I am now, and I'm not going to downplay myself anymore. Sound like me. Yep. But I was like, you know what? Once I decided to get out of my own way, I said, I'd be gosh darned if I let anybody else get in my way. Now, I may slow down a little bit. I might grieve a little bit, but I'm not stopping. Like, maybe I don't really love nobody but me, but I mean, I don't care about anybody enough to just like derail my whole life. Because for the people who I care about, who care about me, who are depending and relying on me to be in the space that I need to be in, like maybe you ain't for me and maybe I'm not for you, and that's cool. But and then yeah, anyway, let's just leave it at that. Anyway, let me take a step back, let me breathe, because it's ain't about me. Okay, I'm out of the situation. Let's get back to this. All right, so tell me about this whatever's going on over here. I would prefer if you put the cards face down, because then I get to unravel. I love surprises. I like mystery and intrigue. I think I like surprises. I'm pretty sure I like surprises. But surprises from certain people kind of scare me. People that I can't predict. Then I'm like, oh, that's scary. Oh, I see the Queen of Pentacles. I didn't see her face, but I saw the side of her throne, and then a card came out on top of her. So someone is hiding this Queen of Pentacles. She peeked out. She popped out. I'm going to let y'all fall. Okay, so we'll put this here. We got two more cards face down. What else is going on? Pull the card from the bottom and put it between the two of them. Okay, this will link these two. And then let's do this again. Let's do 2 and 2 and then link those as well. Right? Maybe. Top, middle, bottom. Ooh, two from the middle. Okay. Top, middle, bottom. And then I'll end it with two cards over here. So we got 5 and 6. Okay. Bottom of the deck now is the Four of Wands. Top of the deck, for whatever reason, is the Emperor. Every snap. So we have the Emperor at the top of the deck and the Four of Wands at the bottom. So that's really interesting. We've also got the Moon card and the World card. So very, very interesting. Whatever this is about, I don't know, but it's promising. Now, if tragedy strikes and a tower is in here, the death card already came out. So if the Ten of Swords is in here and the tower is in here, I'm sorry. But on the front end, it's looking pretty. This is like, do you believe in magic? You believe in miracles? You really believe in miracles? Okay, here's a miracle. There's another miracle. Here's something else that you never thought you would have ever gotten, but surprise, it's at your doorstep now and it's yours. And we think you're going to appreciate it this time. We don't think you're going to waste and squander this opportunity. So enjoy it fully. But let me get into these oracle cards and see what they say. Oh, we got the Third Eye Portal and Majestic Eminence. Ooh, okay, this may be good. This might be good, y'all. Third Eye Portal says vision, clairvoyance, and clarity and confusion when out of balance. That is number 39. And then we have Majestic Eminence, which is priestess, divine feminine, and worth. Worth came out, and the Queen of Pentacles is down here. A card came on top of her, so I don't know what's blocking her or sitting on top of her. Maybe it's the King of Pentacles. I don't know. Wouldn't that be wild? But yeah, the Third Eye and Majestic Eminence, Divine Feminine, Worth. This is exactly the moon card in the world. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in miracles? Because we got something to show you that will blow your mind. The third eye is all about seeing and perceiving beyond the realm of the seen, seeing into the realm of the unseen, right? Perceiving beyond what this 3D physical reality kind of sort of encapsulates and deems as possible. And then you have Majestic Eminence here, right? So, like I said, like these miracles are going to come, and we think that you're in a space to appreciate them. If if your sense of self-worth is on point, you are really, really, really going to be blessed beyond your wildest dreams. It's interesting to say stuff like that in times like these, but tragedy always happens, right? And I know that the global scale severity is like off the charts right now, but in our personal lives, people can go through things that are much worse, right? Like years long struggles with debilitating illnesses and diseases, medical bills that they can't afford, the loss of job, the loss of family. Like that's nothing new. But people still and sometimes thrive or find ways to make light of even the direst of situations, to find a little bit of peace, right? And then maybe once they get far enough into that peace, and then they pray and they get a miracle, miraculous, spontaneous recovery. What? Spontaneous remission. We don't know how it happened. The tests come back negative one day, and you just like, whoa, where'd it go? Do you believe in miracles? You believe in magic? Because we got some stuff that you may be interested in. I'm interested. I believe. Like if ain't nothing else but the whatever the emails and told me, it's time to believe in miracles and it's time to believe in magic, baby. Because we got some stuff coming for you. The card crossing both of these is this Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands came out yesterday as a person who channels the forces of nature and who uses that. Her wand is a living wand. It's living magic. You ain't got to die to get to heaven. You can make heaven on earth, but you got to be of heaven mentality to do that. You can't live heaven on earth when you think, act, and looking like a demon. Like, you know what I mean? If you do dirty stuff happens. But anyway, that's her shadow side, maybe. Because the Queen of Wands, her shadow side will get her into like really trying to tear other people down, because that's when she has more comparative worth and self worth, and someone else glowing and thriving threatens her. A true Queen of Wands Don't care how good you got it, or how good somebody else got it, or if it looked like somebody else got it better on the outside, because she's not bothered, because she knows what she has and she's grateful for it and she knows what she's striving for, right? On the shadow side of the Queen of Wands will get jealous and try to do all kind of stuff. But we ain't talking about her shadow today. Sitting on top of this Queen of Pentacles is the Five of Swords. So we got the Five of Swords and this Queen of Pentacles. I feel like this is a sense of self-worth that can conquer all manner of issue, right? The Ebony Shield and the Ivory Shield came out together on top of the middle pile, which was defense, right? And it's like the best offense is a good defense, and the best defense is being guarded both spiritually and physically. Because if you're guarded spiritually and physically, it doesn't matter if forces try to come in unseen, because they're not going to manifest. And it doesn't matter what kind of sort of like twisted sense of desire comes in, because you're grounded enough in yourself and you're content enough that you're not going to get tempted off the path. Anyway, this is absolute victory in any situation because of this stability that she has formed. The Queen speak to the realm of shadow. I can't remember who said that. Was that Mystic Witch Tarot? I believe it was Mystic Witch Tarot. I'm pretty sure it was Mystic Witch Tarot. As the feminine energies, the Queen speak to the shadow side, right? And like when your shadow side is all healed and stuff like that, if somebody can't get to you through your shadow, how are they going to get you? If they can't get to you through insecurity or through doubt or through worry, then how are they going to shake you? What ground, like what rug would they have to pull from beneath your feet if you're rooted in the ground? You know what I mean? On the other side of this is three cards. What? I thought it was only two. Well, there's six cards on both sides. Ooh. So we have the Ace of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and the Five of Pentacles. That's nine swords and the Five of Pentacles. So this nine swords, you staying up at night, I feel like it could be like there's this perception, there's this increased clarity that's come in. Nine of Swords is the Queen of Swords, but it's the Queen of Swords in the sense of like her not in her power, right? A lot of times the Queen of Swords can be the energy of someone who is very blunt and kind of abrasive, and she puts on this strong front. But if the Queen of Swords is blunt and abrasive to the point of being like kind of catty and rude and not nice, it's because she's staying up at night thinking about all of the things that kind of sort of went wrong in her life, how unhappy she actually is, and then she reacts out of that space by overcompensating in some way or another, right? But it's like this is the realization that, hey, you've been holding yourself back, you've been tying yourself up, you've been keeping yourself out in the cold. You want to know the reason why you're always left out in the cold is because you leave yourself out in the cold. And if you have you out in the cold, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to manifest situations that produce something different. If that's the mindset that you're stuck in, things never work out, things always fall apart, it's always good for this long and then it doesn't work, blah 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 blah. Why me, why me, why me? Victim mentality. We saw it yesterday, somebody playing the victim, keeping themselves out in the cold, keeping themselves from the abundance that they're trying to manifest. But hey, ding dong, light bulb, you know that you're the source now. You know that you are the cause, you know that you are the reason. If you don't come into this energy, this is a either or. This is a either or. Because here's the other side. You know what you're worth and you don't take anything less. And because of that, you are victorious in literally every single situation. Or you know that you're standing in your own way. You choose not to do anything about it. And then you continue to be stuck in these sort of like situations that you don't really want to be in. This is the moon in the world. The moon in the world is the manifestation of unseen things, right? It could be great if you believe in miracles and if you believe in magic. And if, like I said, like you can't live heaven on earth when you look like, think like, act like, speak like, talk like a demon. Like you're not going to manifest heaven on earth if you're working from the lower realms. Like it's, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say you're not going to do it. I feel like it would be extremely difficult to get the best out of life, when you are focused on, grounded in, rooted in, and act out of the worst. Like, how that work? Where that work at? I don't know. But yeah. So I mean, honestly, this is the energy of no excuses. Like, you can continue to keep yourself in those cycles, or you could rise above it. I'm glad I pulled two different sides for this, because hopefully the other side is much better, but we'll see. So the cards on the outside. Oops. Well, we'll see. Oh, okay. The Five of Wands and the Ace of Cups. So this was the first card. This was the fourth card, technically, because two cards came out in the middle. Sitting in the middle is, oh, wow, Justice and the Lovers. And under all of this is the Page of Swords and the Four of Pentacles. Should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I go now? I don't really know the song in full. Sorry. I didn't watch Stranger Things. The Lovers is a choice, and it's sitting in the middle. You have the Five of Wands and the Four of Pentacles on the Lover's side of this. I wish I could show y'all. Maybe I'll do my best. I will do my best. Oh, here we go. I can do this. This is what it looks like on the table, right? This is what, oh, there we go. Boom. So on the Five of Wands side, and that on the Five of Wands side of that choice, so if you choose indecision with the Lovers, I guess, you get that Four of Pentacles, can't nothing come to you because you're blocking everything. However, if you choose the Justice, Ace of Cups, Page of Swords side, I mean, you get Justice in the Ace of Cups, and in that Ace of Cups, like, because the way that you manifest miracles kind of sort of is being spiritually in a space to perceive, believe, and receive miracles, right? Perceive of miracles, believe in miracles, receive miracles. Or would it be believe, perceive, receive? No, I like perceive, believe, and then receive. Perceive, is there a post-ceive? Post-ceiving is the joy that you get after you get it. That's the, wow, I can't believe this happened. Like, this is actually real. The post-ceive is like, a year, 2 years after you get the miracle, when you're still like, I can't believe that happened, but it's my reality and I'm living. So, hey, it's real, right? After you get beyond the shock, and I don't know if you ever will be able to accept whatever this is, but after the initial shock is the post-ceive. So either way, this is going to be a fight. Either way, this is, well, not necessarily, because with that Queen of Wands, Five of Swords, or with the Queen of Pentacles, Five of Swords into that Queen of Wands, that's coming into, I guess this is all about, honestly, this is all about manifestation. This is all about magic. Either a lot of this is about manifestation. Either, and both of these are about choice, right? So either you're going to be so grounded in your sense of self-worth, but the Queen of Pentacles is also caring, is also compassionate, right? So if you're not also caring and compassionate and all of that stuff, because the Queen of Wands is like the Disney princess, she's pure of heart, and all of the animals come to her, and the animals help her with whatever she has to do, right? Nature itself will gladly pour its blessings out for her to help her, because she is pure of heart and she's kind of caring and compassionate. And some of them Disney princesses in the beginnings of the movies have maybe not completely solid senses of self-worth all the time, right? Because if we look at Cinderella, I guess Snow White was different. But if we look at Cinderella, she's like, I want to go to the ball, I want to do this, I want to do that. But she still showed up to that ball. She may have run away every night, but she still showed up to that ball. And while the magic held, she was there, right? She wasn't like, oh, I have my pumpkin in my carriage and my dress, but I'm going to stay at home because I'm not welcome at the ball. She was like, no, I look good. I feel good. I'm a blend in. I'm going to go have a good time. And when the magic run out, I'll come home and I'll live my life again. But she kept going. Can y'all imagine Cinderella if all of that happened and she still decided to stay home? because her stepmama and her stepsisters told her to. And where was her daddy to let that woman treat her like that? Maybe he was busy. I don't know. Anyway, um, yeah, that's when it comes to like claiming your magic, right? Or you can be stuck in victim mentality, even though you know that you're kind of sort of the reason why everything falls apart. And maybe you're not the reason why everything falls apart. I feel like it has been exposed to you while you always feel left out in the cold. And if you choose not to address that, then you're going to continue to manifest things you don't want. Didn't he die? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen the movie full through, low key. There's a bunch of movies that I know I've seen that I just like don't remember. I just don't remember. Like, I know I've seen Pocahontas and I can like remember the general things, but there's a lot of details I don't remember. I thought I had seen Tarzan. I mean, I saw it recently. I don't know. Maybe he did die. If he died, that's extra tragic. Maybe she was like dealing with the grief. You think so? Okay. All right. Got you. So that's on the magic side. But so these are two kind of sort of completely different things. So this is the moon side of things. That's the unseen side. That's the internal. I actually was thinking last night about how much I love moon energy. I think moon energy gets a bad rap because it's associated with the night, right? And because it's associated with the night, it's associated with darkness, it's associated with illusion, it's associated with all of the stuff like that. But when we look at the moon as the moon, when we appreciate, and it's so funny because like one of my friends has been talking to me about this one dude. He real cool, and he's a Taurus. He's a Taurus Gemini cusp, and like 99% of the dudes that I was interested in college for some reason were Geminis. And he's right on that cusp. But so I get the Gemini sort of like, I love talking to Geminis. I love the mind of a Gemini. I love conversation, right? Even though sometimes it go either way. You love the night. Um, but then you get them Taurus, like he's also very like stable. And just his presence to me, even though I've never hugged that man in my life, his presence feels like a hug to me sometimes. And the level of like, I told my friend he's compassionate, like he has a compassionate aura. She was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Do you mean like sympathetic?" And I was like, in my mind, to me, it doesn't necessarily feel sympathetic. It feels more compassionate. Um, but you've now feeling, yeah, I've been like, honestly, the later it gets, the more I feel like aware my brain is. I always go back to that line from Twitches where she's like, if the moon's up, I'm up. But I think a lot of people don't. And yeah, so she would always compare him to other people in the beginning. And I like, she kind of sort of brought it up yesterday. And I was like, yeah, you've always compared him to other people. And she was like, well, I was trying to figure out if I like him. And I'm like, in my mind, whenever I'm trying to figure out if I like somebody, I don't compare people. I look at people as individuals. Maybe everybody's not like that. It's like, do I like this person more than this person? Or do I like that person less than this person? Does this person give me this thing that other people give me? And like, there are things that I've gotten from people that I like and that I appreciate, but I just turn that into something that I value in a person in general. I don't then use that to compare to other people. Um, And so it's like now she's seeing him in a different light because she's kind of sort of seeing him as him and not him as compared to other people. But I always look at people as individuals. And I think that's like people look at the moon as symbolic to light, but I love the moon because the moon gives us light in the darkness, right? The moon may not necessarily be a luminary body, a luminous body in itself. It may not give us light, but because it reflects light, we have light in the dark. The moon brings us clarity in the moments and in the times when everything else is uncertain. And the moon isn't always there, just like we're not always going to have clarity in every unknown situation. Sometimes we have to walk through the darkness and that is the space, the test, the trial, the moment that we're in. But at other times, it's like, don't, like the moon, in my opinion, in my appreciation for the energy, like last night, I'm just like, don't put the night on the moon, because the moon is up there shining a light so that you can see in the darkness. You want to see dark, you want to see illusion, you want to see all that stuff, then take the moon out the situation. Now it's like, okay, have fun, have fun. That little bit of light that you had, have fun without it. Anyway, anyways. So maybe that fits with this, like this whole Five of Pentacles situation over here. It's like you're misattributing things, and because you're misattributing the true source of this discontent and this sort of disconnection in your life, you can't move forward and you can't progress and proceed past it, because first you must see it as it is. And this Ace of Swords is coming in to tell you that Eight of Swords, you in your own way, you in your own mind. Nine of Swords, maybe you can't sleep because you're like, wow, I'm like really in my own way, and it's really my perceptions of things that have put me in this space, and all of the discontent that I feel. If it wasn't plain before, maybe you've come upon a situation where it has been made blatantly obvious and explicitly clear that you are what is holding you back. But what are you going to do with that information? Are you going to sulk in it? Or are you going to turn it around, turn it into power, find yourself, and then get to reclaim your power and your magic and, manifest your way forward? Or are you going to continue to manifest these stuck situations? Don't do my moon hunting. I know, right? They be coming for her. I'm like, don't come for her. She up there doing her job, you know? Anyway, and when she full, people want to use her to manifest. Y'all want to use her for these lunation cycles, but then y'all want to be like, oh, she's illusion. Oh, she's dark. Oh, she's this. And it's like, no. The moon is what gives us the ability to use and tap into that limitless void of nothingness to then birth something through manifestation and creation, and to release things when we return it to the void, right? It's the luminary body that gives us access to the deeper realms of understanding. And it's like you don't blame the place for the whatever, right? Without the moon, we wouldn't have access to that. Like, we would only have half of it's like if plants didn't have day cycles and night cycles, they would die. During the day, they do all the photosynthesis. At night, they do what, the Calvin cycle? Or is it the Krebs cycle? I think it's the Calvin cycle. They do the Calvin cycle at night. Like, they work in the day and in the night. And without the moon, we wouldn't be able to work at night. So be grateful that we have it, right? Anyway, I'm getting off my little, I don't know why I be getting so upset about something sometimes. I wasn't even upset until I talked about it last night. I was just like, wow, the moon is actually the light in the dark. And without the moon, like, where would we be? I'm actually grateful and appreciative of it, because the moon is not night. The moon is not the dark. The moon is not illusion. The moon is the light that we have in a period of darkness. And because of that light, maybe the whole situation isn't illuminated to you. Maybe in some cases, some light would be worse than no light. Maybe, potentially. I don't know. Right? If you're dealing with a two-face situation, and because of the light, you only see like the good face or the bad face, then it may be like, ooh, at least if I didn't see any of the face, I could only go off of the voice, and maybe I'd be able to have a little bit clearer. But I don't know. Anyway, we're moving on. This ain't about that. I mean, it is, or it became about that, but abuse of the feminine energy, but just because y'all can't comprehend. I didn't even think about it like that, but feminine energy has been misunderstood and taken advantage of. So it's time to elevate her out of that. Okay, all right. So appreciate the moon, y'all. The moon is in, I don't know. We have a Gemini new moon on. I got milk lately. My first milk expired on 5/5, which is when the lunar nodes shift. And the milk that I got now expires on May 22nd, which is the new moon. Oh, snap. Ooh, I'm excited for that. Ooh, what that mean? What that mean? I can't wait until I come out of this period of whatever I'm in, because I'm ready. I'm so ready. Um, but anyway, I don't know what's the moon in right now. It was just in Capricorn, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything. Um, so the moon is currently in. No, it was just in Aquarius, wasn't it? So was it in Pisces? Mars is in Pisces now. Fun fact. So the moon is in Aquarius. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Um, so yeah, Mars is in Pisces now. Neptune is in Pisces. So with all of these retrogrades, it could be potentially really giving us a push to go after the things that we actually want to go for, right? I don't think Mars too much likes being in Pisces. Um, but in the romantic sense, with Venus going retrograde, I feel like Mars can be in Pisces, right? Venus is retrograde. Let Mars be a little dreamy and let Mars be a little romantic and act on that, right? Now, if you talk about the shadow side of Pisces, where it can be very dogmatic and then having Mars in there, that's not good because then, that could lead to um, further separation in areas where we already got the South Node in Sagittarius and we don't necessarily need that. Pisces can be a little dogmatic too. I feel like it's a lot more like spiritually and mentally mutable um, than that Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is very like cerebral. And I mean, Gemini would be more cerebral. Sagittarius is a lot more philosophical than cerebral. Once it comes to a viewpoint, it kind of sort of gets stuck on it, and everything else is wrong. Like I had this one friend who's Sagittarius, and he's like, "Astrology is dumb, blah blah blah, whatever." I'm like, "You are a Sagittarius all day long. The way you talking about to me about how these people are dumb and those people are dumb, and people who don't follow and abide by the way you see the world should just be like cold and set to the side. That ain't shadow Sagittarius. I don't know what that is if that ain't shadow side of Sagittarius." And it's like there was this a BuzzFeed video where they were like an astrologer guessed the employees, whatever. There was also a cut video where astrologers did the same thing. Anyway, there was this, or they were guessing. No, maybe that was the React channel. Yeah, that was the React channel. Fine Brothers. They were guessing different employees' zodiac signs, and this Sagittarius, all they did was read their zodiac. This Sagittarius came up. I was like, "You a Sagittarius all day long? I know it." And the dead giveaway was when it said arrow in his horoscope. I was like, "Okay," but before I even went that far, I was like, "You Sagittarius." Because Sagittarius, they get really, really, really stuck on this is, and it's a very like philosophical, mental point of view. It's fire. It's a perception of how things should be and how things shouldn't be, and it's very black and white. It can be very cut and dry, even though they're mutable. The mutable in Sagittarius is this side and that side. This side is right, that side is wrong, but I can see both sides. Anyway, a Sag said this. Yeah, it did. I mean, another Sagittarius said it too. So, because like I said, it's like black and white. So if they don't see the merit in it, they don't really fully give it the depth and the breadth. They don't give it, and a lot of times they say it's like sun sign, and like, oh yeah, they're really vague and they're really broad, and it can apply to anybody, and blah 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 blah. And I told this dude, I was like, true astrology goes so much deeper. You have 10 planets. It's more than just the sun or whatever. And it's like people use it to talk about. Anyway, it ain't about that. It's not about Sagittarius. We have the world card right here, which is all about fixed energy, right? We see the angel, we see the bird, the eagle, we see the deer, and we see this should be a lion. Yeah, it's a ooh, this is like a white lion. Fixed energy. The world card ruled by Saturn. Saturn is now retrograde. The moon is ruled by Pisces. Neptune is about to go retrograde, but Mars and Neptune are both direct in Pisces right now. Shout out to the moon for being the only direct energy, and Mercury right now. For until Mercury enters freaking Cancer, but shout out to the moon and Mercury for being the only direct energies and air signs right now. when Mercury goes into Cancer and the moon isn't in Aquarius. Like Juno is in Libra right now, retrograde. Venus is going to be retrograde in Gemini. The nodes move retrograde, so they're just naturally retrograde. They move backwards to the zodiac, and it's like, so all of our communication energy is going to be retrograde. So I mean, it's as strong as it's going to be probably for a hot second right now. So if there's any truth that you need to reveal with this Page of Swords, now may be the time to do it. Maybe not. I don't know. But we got two air energies, right? Justice and the Page of Swords. Libra. Libra is empty besides Juno right now. I only know that I mean, there could be other like minors in there, but hey. You thought about someone else. Yeah, sun sign. And he is a Sag sign. Yeah. Yeah. And like that's just it's kind of sort of Sagittarius. I mean, I have another Sagittarian friend who is very spiritual, and she and I do so like the spiritual Sagittarius is. I feel like with the not necessarily, but with spirituality comes a certain level of open mindedness, a certain level. And again, it's not completely because then with that you can dive into like spiritual people who are non-spiritual people are trash. And then it's like, okay, Sagittarius, you're doing it again. Maybe not, but it is pretty black or white. But he was actually extremely empathic. And I feel like we're both empathic and he is one of my favorite people on the planet. I met him last summer. He is literally one of two or three of the reasons why I worked the job that I worked last summer. I was like, I know, like, I don't really want to work this job, but I know that I'm going to work with somebody and that person is going to like do something like that's going to be the reason why I'm working. And I pretty much recognized him immediately. And we're both very empathic. And so we had like this whole little empathic, telepathic conversation because he was dealing with the situation and we were like he was talking to somebody and she kept just like jabbing at him and I could feel it just like hitting him and I kept looking at him and then he would look at me and I was like, girl, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you're going through this, but I'm so shook right now. I don't even know what to do. And if I could speak up, I would speak up, but I'm just speechless. And then after we walked away, he was like, "Yeah, I could tell that you were right there with me. I could tell. I knew exactly what you were thinking and how you were feeling." And I was like, "Thank you." And I knew that you recognized me, and I didn't know what to do. I'm sorry, I didn't know what to do. um, but yeah, but he's a Sag Sun and Moon. Sag Sun and Moon with the Leo rising. So he's triple fire. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how do we get along? Because fire ain't typically what I consider myself getting along with. But, you know, anyway, we made it work. But I guess with all that Sag energy, my north node is in Sagittarius, and so there is something that I'm supposed to learn from that energy anyway, right? So yeah. ZDX for him to say that. What is ZDX? We out here like airheads. Probably. Maybe not. It may just be like communication breakdown. It may just be like lines of communication are crossed. Like we say one thing, but it's perceived in a different way. And then someone else said something and it's perceived in a different way. And maybe it's because with all of these other retrogrades, we're coming at things from a space of, and just like there's a lot of uncertainty in the air right now. Anyway, getting back to this, because this is a little bit longer than I thought it would be. Um, on the magic side of things, either you are going to claim your throne and manifest from that space of self-worth, or you're going to continue to manifest lack situations from lack-based spaces. On this side, when it comes to this world card, right? Because that was the moon, that was the unseen, that was the sort of play behind the play, that was the sun in the background that is then giving this moon the energy to create in this nighttime space, in this void space, right? The moon is backed by the sun. So the moon is at its best when it's opposite the sun, because then it can fully receive all of that and then reflect it back down, right? To cast light in this realm of darkness, the realm of darkness being the limitless void of potentiality that then gives birth to whatever, right? But that sun is how you perceive it, right? The moon is just what brings it down here and creates it in this space, but it's all really based in the sun. So if you don't like the moon, you need to look and see what kind of light you shining in this situation, because the moon is only reflecting it. The moon isn't really responsible for anything. It's a mirror. It's reflective. Like, if you look ugly, girl, it ain't the mirror fault. It ain't your phone fault. It ain't your fault. It ain't your parents' fault. It ain't genetics, but you're just ugly. If you look ugly, you're ugly. Yeah, I mean, if you go to, it don't matter what mirror you go to. Maybe you go to a funhouse mirror and maybe it'll like reproportionize you by like making this bigger and making this smaller and, rounding you out up here, giving you that hourglass that you want. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, sorry. I ain't calling nobody ugly, but it ain't the mirror or the phone or the camera fault. Sometimes, like if it's a low quality, but low quality can hide some stuff sometimes. If it's too bright, it can hide some stuff sometimes. Anyway, don't be mad at the mirror. On the side of the world card where we're actually experiencing it, where we're living it, we have this Five of Wands, Lovers, Four of Pentacles, which is a very, like, this is going to be a fight regardless. Either you are going to stand up and reveal whatever this truth is. This is all about the revelation of truth, right? Either you're going to hold the truth or you're going to speak the truth. Even if this is the Page of Swords, the Page of Swords has a lot to say. And the Page of Swords, it has a lot of information that isn't necessarily grounded in anything. But just because it isn't grounded in anything doesn't mean that it's incorrect. Because sometimes it takes one person to come in with a brand new idea that may be laughed at and mocked initially in its history, right? It happens. It may be laughed at and mocked initially, but once people actually analyze it for what it is, and once people see the truth in it, then it calls older systems into question. And then you can look at the flaws and the deficits in older systems, and then things get redefined. That's how science works, right? That's how progression happens. We call into question the things that we already know. This Page of Swords, I may be inexperienced, I may be young, this may be my first battle, but I'm destined to be king and I'm ready to fight. So come at me if you want to. And then he takes down a whole nation and they're like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? This person they had the best army in the world. And you're like, well, all falsehoods, falsities, and lies fall before the truth. And this Page of Swords is coming to speak the truth. That's a full moon. That's full moon energy. That's full moon energy. He's coming to shed some light in the darkness. From one mother to another, moon to earth. Interesting. You said the moon is the light and darkness. Do you remember how I told you that the moon is really androgynous? I do, but the feminine yin is the leading energy. I remember you telling me that the moon is androgynous, and the sun was masculine, and the earth was feminine, or something like that. I remember you telling me about that. But the moon also has a dark side that we don't see, right? We never see the dark side of the moon, so maybe maybe that's a little bit of the illusion. Maybe. Like, you only see the light side of the moon. You never see the dark side of the moon because of the way that it rotates around the earth, I think. It's like the same side of the moon is always facing the earth. And so you never see what's on the other side. But the sun sees it. The sun would see it on a new moon, right? Because if the sun is behind and the moon is in front, then that's when the sun would see the side of the moon that we don't see. So, like, every 28 days, the sun checks in on the dark side of the moon, but we never see it. We never know what's going on. So that moon, she do be hiding some stuff. let me not make her out to be a complete hero, right? Because there's good and bad. There's two sides to everything. Let me not be in Sagittarius energy right now. Let me keep a Gemini North Node. It's both sides to everything. She got a dark side too. Just because we don't see it, don't mean it's not there. But anyway, this is a very, very, very courageous decision. And this decision is going to be what sets us or whoever this resonates for on their new path. Because again, over here with the Fool and Karma, old karmic cycles are over for a lot of people. For some people, if it resonates, it's over for you. Now, this decision is to come forward into a new balanced cycle. That new balanced cycle leading to this Ace of Cups through means of speaking this truth. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The Page of Swords is also the energy of like someone who overshares, someone who speaks too much, right? You might have to overshare. I don't know what cycles you're coming out of. I don't know what you done or what you've been speaking or thinking or doing or whatever. But it's like, you know how sometimes when you plead your case, you tell your full story. It's like, I can't do this because, this is what's going on in my personal life. And my wife just had a baby and she can't work right now because she just had a baby. And babies are expensive. And I can't do this right now because I got to take care of my family. And I'm also going through this. And my baby, he's dealing with that. And, things have been hard for a minute. And, low key, I've been arguing with the wife and we ain't sleeping together. And, that's also created tensions. And I know you don't need to know that, but that's also a key factor into why I'm feeling this way. And also at the same time, my boss kind of been on me lately and my wife is on me, my boss is on me, the baby is screaming and it's too much, but I can't do this right now. Like that's Page of Swords energy. And it's like, okay. And it's not, it's not to make anybody feel bad. And it's not to make anybody like feel pity for you, but sometimes the way we perceive a situation can change when we know the fullness of the situation and the severity of the situation, right? That's when you can kind of sort of seek out alternatives, right? And when you know the fullness of a situation, that's when you can offer solutions and resources that are more tailor fit to that specific situation, right? So let's say that let's say there's some assistance that you could get if because you have a wife and a baby, right? You can get is it WIC? You can get WIC because you got a newborn baby or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But if you didn't tell them about the baby, they wouldn't tell you about WIC because it wouldn't be applicable to your situation. And so don't worry about having your words. It's just, this is word vomit. Just come out. Yeah, I mean, we got the Lovers right here. The Lovers and the Justice card. That's the energy. Is like throw it all on the table. It's all on the table. This is everything. This is all of who I am. Take me or leave me. I hope you take me, but take me or leave me. This is everything. And then someone's like, "Oh my gosh," or somebody's like, "Ew," and then you're left feeling like this. Either way, you got to take the risk because life is all about risks. And that's what I have today. This is all about going beyond. That King of Cups, like the Guardians are out. The Guardians came out 2 days in a row. So I'm gonna say you're protected. You're protected. Unless karmically you've done something that like unless you're getting your just desserts, you are protected. Um and move forwards. Claim all that is to come. Those old circles are behind you. Again, the Emperor is right here. And the Emperor came out in the entry that I read, right? It's time to be them emperors. The Four of Wands is at the bottom of the deck. And the World card is right here. The minor world came out and the major world came out. Like, come on. I'm hungry too. Okay, what'd you say? You said, what if the dark night of the moon is our dark night of the soul, which is why we don't see it because we haven't gone through it yet? What if the moon is the dark side of Gaia, the feminine energy, and that is the illusion? Girl, you I mean, the moon does represent the emotional body in some ways. Does it represent the soul? I guess it could, right? So I mean, I feel like it's not completely ungrounded. I am gonna get one final message from each. Um, oh, that Nine of Pentacles and that Seven of Wands. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna try to do this one more time. The reason why I don't like shuffling like this is because it bows my cards, and I don't like my cards being bowed, but I do love. Oh no, I almost had it. Ace of Wands came out and ruined everything. I'm gonna try to do this real quick. But I mean, even though you can't see it, you can always feel it. And that's another thing that the moon is about, right? Feeling. When our eyes go down, then our other senses pick up, right? Your hearing might sharpen at night. Ooh, King of Swords. Oh, he gonna be victorious, y'all. King of Swords and that Six of Wands. I'm already a winner. All right, let's see if I can do it. And you couldn't even see it, and it was super quick. Page of Cups and the Six of Wands. Okay. You can't see it. Oh well. Oh well. Final message. Okay, that was the Six of Wands. Just punted some card out the deck. Bottom of the deck is a Hermit. Page of Cups is in reverse. I'm not gonna take that because I just saw y'all. Give me something new. Give me something new. Let me shuffle this up a little bit and then get a final message. I cut it. But see, the thing though is, even with the dark side of the moon, even with the dark side of Gaia, the feminine energy a lot of times is about intuition, is about receptivity, and is about feeling. And so when you're truly in tune with it, um, even things that you can't see, you can feel. When you're truly in tune with it, you don't have to see it to know that it's there. You can like feel it out. It's giving me like Toph vibes from Avatar. Like she's blind, but since she's blind and since she's an earthbender, she's so in tune with the vibrations of the earth that she can basically see, right? And it's like, kind of sort of the same thing. Like you don't have to physically see it to feel it. And when you're in tune with those energies, you can explore it through feeling and through emotion and through intuition. And so unseen, yes, but it's not unknowable. Um, right? Does my moon cusp? I'm thinking about it. My moon is in Taurus. Oh, there's the card. Okay. Nine of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles with the Three of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. That's a lot of Pentacles. I mean, this is the Ten of Pentacles right here. Oh, look, that's the Queen of Pentacles. That's the Queen of Pentacles before she became the Queen. She Nine of Pentacles in it. Then this King of Pentacles, see her? They get married. Boom, she become the Queen of Pentacles. They get the Ten of Pentacles between them. And then we got this Three of Pentacles right here. That's the birth of their kingdom. They're thriving. They living good, living lavish, living lush, eating fresh fruits and vegetables. The moon and earth are feminine, the yin and yang of each other, as above, so below. What if, I'm just going to write this down, sun to the stars. I mean, they're both luminous, right? So they're both lights, and light is all about expression. And it's about being seen or perceivable. It's being perceivable. So yeah. Oh, excuse me. All right. We're going to get the final oracle card. Oh, girl, give me 1 second. What is this? Yes, come through, sis. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Give me one moment, please. I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and I don't even want to hide it. It don't matter if I can or can't. I ain't hiding it. I'm excited, and I ain't hiding it. Okay, but yeah. That's what I was like. I don't even know what that is. I wish there's some things that just happen. I wish there was somebody I can talk to and I could be like, okay, I've been experiencing this lately. What does this mean? Let's just fill it out. I wish I could be more receptive. I mean, I am pretty receptive. I just wish I could be more receptive. I wish my third eye was like on. Like I wish I could see. I feel like I can perceive and I can feel, but I wish I could see. You know what I mean? Why my vision gone? I mean, I know what it served as for me in my life now, but I'm like, am I still learning from this? I'm trying to get all of the lessons I can learn so my vision can improve, and I ain't got to be like, oh, I need that as a lesson to teach me this. Like, nope. I learned all the lessons that this moment of difficulty and hardship in my life has shown me. I'm ready for my miracle. I believe in miracles. Y'all can fix these eyes now. I can live my life. Because when I tap into the energy of the future, like, it's different. It's like a different path. It's better in a lot of ways. The card that just came out is Reflective Truth. Reflective Truth. It's like you blind because you blind. You still don't see. Let me stop. Oneness at the bottom of the deck. I haven't seen this oneness card in a while. But there he is. He's divine masculine, actually. Oneness is number 30, right? Yeah, number 30. Balance, patience, and divine masculine. And then majestic eminence, priestess, divine feminine, and worth came out earlier. So there's oneness. Or was it forgiveness? Forgiveness is divine feminine. Sorry, isn't it? I believe forgiveness is divine feminine. Let me find it real quick. Well, here's majestic eminence. No, that's elimination. Let me find it real quick. Because that would have been what, the top or the bottom of the deck? Forgiveness, divine feminine. Here's forgiveness. No. So it was majestic eminence. Where's majestic eminence? There's guardian. Wow. Now y'all want to act like I know how to shuffle? No, that's inspirational creation. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it was on majestic eminence. So we've seen both the divine feminine and the divine masculine come out, bottom of the deck. But the top of the deck is reflective truth. Reflective truth is number 31. So we got 30 and 31. Look at that. I do shuffle these, y'all. Identity, self-love, and acceptance. Reflective truth, identity, self-love, and acceptance. What is that one prayer? I accept the things that I cannot change. Lord, give me the strength to accept the things I cannot change, to change the things that I can change, and to the clarity to know the difference between the two, or something like that. I don't know. Is that an AA prayer? It made you think of how the planet rulers go. Mercury rules Gemini, Yang, and Virgo, Yin. But Gemini is Yin to Sagittarius, Yang, and Virgo is Yang to Pisces, Yin. You want your clairaudient abilities to kick up a notch or two. Ooh, well, I guess, yeah. I don't know, because, like, if I start hearing noises and ain't nobody there, that's when I'm like, oh, it was the wind. But yeah, that's because what? So water is yin yin, fire is yang yin. Water is and I think Delo said it a long time ago. And I was like, oh, wow. Water is the yin side of yin energy. Fire is the yang side of yin energy. Earth is the yang side. No, Earth is the yin side of yang energy. And air is the yang side of yang energy. So when you're talking about feminine energy, you have fire and water, with fire being the masculine side of that, water being the feminine side of that. And when you're talking about masculine energy, you have earth being the feminine side of that and air being the masculine side of that. Because masculine energy is very cerebral, it's very intellectual, and it's very like analytical, right? And that's why the practicality of earth falls on that masculine side, because that's all about thinking and perceiving whether something is realistic or not. Is this something that is able to be manufactured and produced? Is this something that can be made tangible? And then the intangible side of that, the pure thought, purely speculative side of that is air. And when it comes to femininity, which is all about receptivity, creativity, Genesis, the birth, you have the water, the yin side of that, which is all about sort of really holding and receiving that expression, right? Water is one of the best conductors on the planet, right? And then you have fire, which is all about making that seen. It's about externalizing it and expressing it, what is on the inside, and making it visible on the outside. So he went into it. That was a while ago. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because at first he said it, and there was some stuff that he said or he would say, and I was like, that makes sense on some level, but it's still kind of sort of over my head. But the more I learned to like fill out like energies for myself, especially when it comes to like the zodiac and stuff like that, because I was like, whoa, like Mercury rules both of these. And I think that's when I started getting into Shonda, right? Learning more about the astrology um, and planet rulers and stuff like that, or sign rulers and stuff like that. So yeah. All right. Thank you, Miyoshi, for stopping in. Thank y'all. If you watched this at any point, thank you for your review. I hope you found something in here helpful. Maybe not. But yeah. I'm gonna go do my foot soaking meditation, get a little bit of cardio in because I've been slacking on both of those, go outside for a minute, and then get to work. Because I got cycles that I still need to close. And this school thing is one cycle that should have been closed. But hey, everything comes in the time it's supposed to. And if you see it the first time, it doesn't have to come a second time or a third time, but it still happens in the time it's supposed to. So, yes. Love you. Thank you for being here. And I will catch y'all later. Have a good whatever, whenever you see this. And if you're seeing this right now, keep having a good of it. Can y'all hear Chino just barking in the back? Oh my gosh.